So I discovered something very interesting in the Lucee CFML server, which is that if you upload a file using the multi-part form data, Lucee creates a temp file, a .upload file in the get temp directory that represents that file, and then it automatically deletes that file after the request is done processing. However, if you spawn a CF thread as part of that overall process, not only does Lucee stop deleting that temp file, it also creates duplicates of that temp file. So let's take a look at that happening. So first, I want to create a page here that gets all of the files in the get temp directory and just outputs them so that we can see what's taking place behind the scenes with an option to clear it for the demo. And then I have this page here that we just looked at, which takes a file, uploads it, and then optionally spawns a few CF threads that do nothing. So let's take a look at what goes on behind the scenes. So first, here's our temp directory, and if we refresh, we can see we have no files in our temp directory. Now let's come over here and let's upload a file, and we're not going to spawn threads yet. Let's upload. You can see this created temp 297.upload, 296.upload. If we go back over here and we refresh, you can see that file was automatically deleted by the Lucee CFML server as part of the request processing, or when the request was done being processed. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to, let's try with a different file, but this time we're going to spawn CF threads. And if we remember, again, this CF thread here isn't actually doing anything at all. It's just existing, and we're going to create 10 of them. So let's upload. You can see we get 297, and this time if we look at our temp directory, we can see that we have 11 files. So we have one for the parent request and then 10 for the CF threads. Right? What number was it? 297. We can see 297 is right here. So what we're seeing is not only is the temporary file no longer being deleted automatically, but a duplicate of the temporary file, and we can see that the size is all the same here, a duplicate of the temporary file is created for every CF thread instance, right? We have 10 CF threads, so we have 10 plus the parent, which is 11. So what can we do about this? Well, one idea that I had was simply to periodically purge old temp files using either maybe a scheduled task or some sort of health check. And what that could do is take some sort of age in minutes, let's say 5 minutes is a reasonable time to consider a file no longer in play. We can scan the temp directory looking for .upload files. Then we can generate a cutoff here, 5 minutes in the past, and filter those temporary files based on any time the date of last modified is earlier than the cutoff, which is 5 minutes ago, and then we simply delete that file. And of course, files can get locked and throw errors for all sorts of reasons, so we want to have an individual try-catch for each file operation so that we don't get a so-called poison pill. Now it hasn't been 5 minutes, so let's just make this 1 minute for now for the demo. And if we come over here and we run this, and now we come back over here, refresh, you'll see that those are all gone. Now let's just refresh this page to get a new file, right? And we come here, we can see refresh, and if we run this again, what we should see is these are still here, right? Because we have not crossed that 1 minute cutoff. So definitely an interesting behavior. We started looking into this because our platform team got paged due to some Lucee pods that were taking over 160 gigs of storage space. And it's easy to see now why that's happening because, again, we use CFThread all the time for things like logging analytics data where we don't want to block the parent request, or creating thumbnails in the background, or creating asset versions. It's easy to understand why any given request might have, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 CF threads that get spawned for asynchronous processing. And if each one of those CF threads is creating a duplicate of the .upload temporary file, it's no wonder that 160 gigs is being filled up. So peculiar behavior, but now that I know what's going on behind the scenes, at least I have a way to counteract it.